So I thought I would just do a little video talking about when things go wrong on gigs. I'm currently on tour at the moment. I'm in France, I'm in Bordeaux. I'm halfway through a month-long tour. The reason I thought I would talk about this is because I had something go wrong for me on this tour, probably the third gig in. I thought this might be a useful thing for anyone who's just wanting to get out and play, maybe go to open mic nights, maybe they want to get out on tour. But one of the things that they're worried about is what if they make a mistake, or what if there is a mistake. Now, one thing I can wholeheartedly guarantee each and every one of you out there is that at some point during one of your live shows, something is going to go wrong. Without doubt, something's going to go wrong. No one gets through this completely unscathed. You're going to make a mistake. Something's going to go wrong. A piece of equipment's going to go wrong. Someone's going to forget the words to the song. Someone's going to play the wrong chords. Someone's going to snap a string in the middle of their solo. And, I think actually one thing to help you get through that is just to take some comfort knowing that it's just your turn when that happens. It's just your turn. Doesn't mean it's always going to go wrong. It just means that it's your turn. And, when it does happen, you just have to shrug it off. But going back to what happened to me on this tour, I've been gigging since I was 14 years old. I think I did my first gig. So I've had lots of experience doing live work, and I've had a lot of experience of things going wrong. The other night we were playing, doing a show in Paris, and this was completely my fault. What happened? I was using the Quad Cortex. I decided to adjust a patch. I had a break in one of the songs, and the next song was coming up, and I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump forward to the next song. I'm going to just tweak my reverb settings for this lead sound that I had. So I did that, tweaked away, everything was perfect. I thought, I didn't test it, I just turned up the mix of the reverb. It could have been anything, doesn't really matter. But on the Quad Cortex, when you save it, right underneath it where you save, you press the screen to say save. For those who've got one out there, you can change the mode. So I changed it I use the Quad Cortex in hybrid mode, but I changed it to preset mode by mistake because the button for that change is right underneath where you press save. Anyone out there who works with Neural DSP might be worthwhile changing that. But anyway, due to it being a dark stage, I press save, but also underneath I press the button to change the preset. So I play through. So the next song comes up and I change to that song, and I have a big solo that happens in the middle of this song where I have to walk to the front of the stage. I'm playing a clean sound. There's a little bit of a break. I change my patch and then I make my way to the front of the stage to do this. This is the glory moment. I'm at the front of the stage in front of probably, I can't remember how many people, but it's a big room full of people. So I hit the switch, hit the first note of the solo. Actually, there's two power chords that come in before that. Hit the first power chord, and all I've got is a clean sound, a clean DI'd sound. My patch, my beautiful tone that I'd set up with a new reverb, the extra reverb, is completely gone. I've just got the guitar going straight through the Quad Cortex to front of house with a DI'd sound. No overdrive, nothing. So I obviously have a bit of a, what's going on? Because I'm in a bit of a panic, I've got about 8 bars before my solo actually happens. So I go back to my pedal and I'm looking down at it, and because I'm in a panic, I don't know what I've done wrong, but all I can see is a completely blank screen. It just says unsaved. There's no amp on there or anything. So I'm going, well, how do I get back? So I'm going up and down through the presets. It's all blank, right? All blank. So this is where my brain is going, okay, I've got 3 bars left and I've got to do this solo. And I get on a patch and, oh, okay, this is the patch I need. So I press the button, look down again, and it's gone blank. So this is the point where I'm going, right, I want the earth to open up and swallow me whole. I missed the intro to the solo, the entrance to the solo. I mean, the solo is about 32 bars. I missed that. I can sense the the artist is looking over at me going, what's going on? Something's not happening, you know, and they've got lights programmed for this. So I'm supposed to be standing under a spotlight and all that kind of stuff as part of the show. So I'm now panicking. I eventually get it to a patch that I know has got a lead sound on it, and I go finish the solo and do it. And it, you know, probably some people in the audience remember that or realise it happens, and the band know it's happened. But personally, I really know it's happened. For the rest of the set, the whole gig, I really had to struggle to keep my concentration. I felt so weird about what had just happened that my brain just went into meltdown, and I kind of started questioning. I managed to figure out what I'd done wrong and I rectified it, but I started to question, shit, what's the key of the next song? When's the solo start in that song? Am I playing in this song? What's the first chord? Everything fell apart for me. This accident happened on the third song of the set, and I had a whole 2-hour show to do. So it wasn't great. And that's something that's happened to me. I've been playing a very long time. I've been doing loads and loads of gigs. I just fell apart. I got through it, but I could literally feel my hands shaking for the rest of the gig. I had an acoustic solo to do on the next couple of songs later, and these solos are all written, so I had to sort of play this written solo, and I made a mistake in that. It was just a knock-on effect. Okay, so yeah, it was a rough gig, but I came off the stage with my head in my hands. But having been there before and had this before, I know that you just have to shrug it off, right? You as quickly as you can, you have to gather your thoughts and shrug it off, because it can happen to anyone, and it does happen to everybody. Another thing that I see happening quite a lot is when bands use backing tracks. Sometimes something goes wrong with a backing track. You know, a band, whether you like it or not, quite commonly these days, bands will use extra stuff on track. They'll be running a track, whether it's got backing vocals on it or extra keyboard parts or percussion or synth things like sequence synth things or sound effects or stuff like that. It does happen a lot. I'm fortunate that my main band, Jamiroquai, we don't use backing tracks at all. So it means that you can have a fluid arrangement. You can change the arrangement on the fly and kind of navigate the song by watching the singer and change into the sections when he wants to sing. But that's a little bit, you can do it when you've got backing tracks if you use software like Ableton Live, but quite often a show will have the backing track with the arrangement completely solid from start to finish for the whole gig. And I've seen that happen where people have lost their way in the track, and they'll change to the next section without realizing that the arrangement doesn't go like that. I was involved in a gig once where the backing track, none of the band could hear the backing track, that the in-ear system went wrong, and it meant that for every single song of the set, the keyboards for the arrangement and some of the backing vocals that were on track came out about 2 bars later than they should have for every song. So it was a complete disaster. But you when you're on stage, you're in it. You can either stop. Unfortunately, on that gig, we couldn't stop. It was like a runaway horse that we couldn't control. But on the drive home or in the bus on the way to wherever, you will discuss it as a band and make sure that doesn't happen again. I've had plenty of things that have happened where I'm doing a solo and I've hit the worst possible note I could hit. The biggest bum note you could ever is a howler, and you just have to shrug it off. One thing I try not to do is I try not to look round at any of the other band members, because all that will do is highlight that you've made a mistake. Most of the time the audience won't know. You'll know because you'll feel it. The band members will probably know, but usually that mistake is a lot. It happens so quickly that it passes by and no one will really know. Someone out there will probably notice, but I should think that everyone should have a bit of artistic license, and they can, we're not perfect. I do believe that that's a very, very important thing, is that we retain our humanity in music, especially with AI coming along and it potentially being taken away from us. But I personally believe warts and all is a good thing. One thing that I've learned from doing this for years is try not to stop. Unless there's a complete train wreck and you decide to start the song again, try not to stop. If you can, most of the time it can sort itself out quite quickly and you can get through it and get the song done. But, keyboard players might get the wrong patch. The drummer's head might go through. He might hit the snare too hard and snap, break the snare head. Or I've had it where a drummer has used the kick drum too hard and he's put his kick pedal straight through the front head, which, is a real problem because it's quite hard to change a kick drum head during a set, let alone bringing in a new kick drum. That means the show's going to stop. I've been involved in gigs where the singer's got the words wrong. Most of the time the audience don't know. I've been at many gigs where mistakes have happened. I think it was one of the very first shows I ever went to see. I went to see Level 42 at Wembley Arena. It was one of my first big live gigs. And I remember hearing Phil Gould, who's incredible, and this isn't a criticism, it's just what happened. He came out of a fill on one of the songs, did a drum fill, came out of the fill backwards and played about 2 bars with the beat back to front. So the kick was where the snare should have been and the snare was where the kick should have been. And then he rectified it. Now maybe that was done on purpose as a little bit of an in-joke, I don't know, but I don't know. But I do remember hearing and going, oh, there's a little bit of a mistake there. It happens. To me, when I hear a mistake, it actually endears me to the artist a bit more. I like to hear the humanity. But for those of you that are out there that are thinking, I'm going to make a mistake, I don't want to put myself out there. What if I screw up? Yeah, you're going to screw up. But like falling off a horse, the best thing you can do is get straight back on it, or falling off a bike, you get straight back on and carry on. You are going to make mistakes. For the rest of this tour, I won't be adjusting my patches in the middle of the gig anymore. Or if I do, I will make sure that I've got a clear sight of how I'm going to save that patch, because I don't want to relive that world swallowing me up, the ground swallowing me up whole thing anymore. I don't want that. But I thought I'd just talk about this a little bit. If you had any experiences like that, leave me a comment below. I'd like to hear I want to hear your mistakes, basically. So I know I'm not the only one. I'll share another little one that happened. It's always these mistakes always happen. I've got 2. I'm going to share 2 more, and these are both with Jamiroquai. They always happen at the worst moment, right? It doesn't happen when it's not overly important. It always is going to happen, probably because there's more pressure put on you at these points. Back in 2003, we did a concert in Verona, in the big amphitheatre in Italy. It was amazing. That day was great. We did a sound check. It was incredible. It was a lovely, beautiful sunny day. We all felt very fortunate to be in this amazing amphitheatre doing a gig, and we knew it was going to be filmed that night. So maybe that's what it was. We knew the gig was going to be filmed. There was a film crew there that was filming it for a DVD release. I don't know if anyone's seen it. Beautiful sunshine day, all day long. We go on stage. Derek counts off the first number. All of a sudden, the heavens opened up and it just starts chucking it down with rain. It's raining really hard. The whole stage is completely drenched. The crew had to come out and put bags like polythene over our pedal boards. The rain was blowing into the stage. We were getting soaked. We were worried about getting electric shocks. Jay was fine because he had a wireless mic. Nothing's going to affect him, but I'm plugged in. Matt had a keyboard. We're all sitting playing electronic gear. So the threat of getting electric shock is pretty bad. Anyway, we thought the gig was going to be pulled because it was too dangerous. At one point, the crew were coming up on stage, picking up the wedge monitors and tipping the water out of them. That was how much rain there was. And it rained for the whole show. Didn't stop raining. I think we played for over 2 hours. It didn't stop raining until we finished playing. As soon as we finished playing, it stopped raining. Anyway, that was not the mistake. And this isn't actually a mistake. This is just when something went wrong. We play a song called Corner of the Earth, which is He started out with just myself and Jay. I'm playing a nylon string guitar. Anyway, I'm playing it, quite nervous because, I can't remember, there was a lot of people in this venue and it's being filmed. So you're nervous because you're doing something on your own with a singer. It's quite stressful because you want to get it right. Anyway, I play the first chord of this song, which is a D minor, or D minor it was, and the guitar is out of tune, okay? The song started and I'm having to play an out of tune guitar. It was probably the temperature in the air, the rain. It was a warm day, summer's day, but it was raining. So the guitar was out of tune. And the more I played through the song, it was getting further and further and further out of tune. It was so devastatingly badly out of tune. I did consider stopping, but I realised it was being filmed, so I had to play the whole thing more and more out of tune. Then the band come in. I think the drums and bass and keyboards came in the second verse or something like that, maybe the first chorus. But it was absolutely terribly out of tune. So yeah, I just had to sort of suck it up and get to the end of the song. For the release, I had to re-record that guitar. I had to sort of go into the studio and re-record it because it was just so badly out of tune. But then I had to carry on for the rest of the gig worrying about that performance. Anyway, so there's one. There was another one that happened. We play on a show, we've done a show in the UK called Jools Holland, Later with Jools Holland. And how that show works, or at the period we did it, you would record, the show would be on TV twice. It'd be on a Tuesday night and a Friday night during a week. So they would film the Friday night's performance during the afternoon, and then what would happen is everyone would go, you'd regroup, and then you would film the Tuesday performance, which would go out live that night, go out on TV that night. Okay, so there's no stopping and starting. Once the show starts, the presenter comes out, he introduces the bands, and you're on, and then the bands basically play in a circle, and they take it in turns to play songs. The presenter, Jools Holland, walks onto the studio stage set, introduces us. We're playing the first song, and the song we're playing is the song called Rock Dust Light Star. It was off that album of the same name, and the intro to that is Derek counts in on the drums, just gives us a stick click in, and I play this little figure that's like just a sort of a rolling little figure, a couple of notes, and Matt is playing some keys. Anyway, he's introduced, and I had my in-ears in, and at the time I was using generic in-ears because my molds had broken. So I've got in-ears in, and I'm slightly deaf. I've got a loss of hearing in my left ear. Not deaf, I've just lost a lot of high end in my left ear. So I'm using these generic in-ears, and they have foam molds on them, okay? And then they slide on to the earpiece. Anyway, I get an itch just before Derek counts the song. I get an itch in my ear, so I scratch my ear like that, and as I pull my hand away, my hand gets caught on the wire, and it rips the headphone out of my ear, leaving the foam in my ear, okay? So it means that this ear is blocked, and I don't have incredible hearing in this ear, and when I'm starting the song. So I immediately turn around, because it's being filmed. I think there's like a time delay of like 6 minutes, but it goes out live on TV. There's a time delay. So I'm now deer in the headlights, absolutely petrified that I'm going to make a mistake. So I turn around and I just stare at Derek's hi-hat to make sure I'm in time. But what I'm saying is that this is just the worst possible time for that to happen, when it's being filmed for a live TV broadcast. Anyway, I got through the song, finished that song, managed to get my ears sorted out, but I had to play the whole song just watching Derek to play in time and in tune. It's probably on YouTube somewhere, but yeah, it's quite a scary moment. Anyway, yeah, if you've had any moments like that, please leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.